Good morning. Today is Wednesday, the 13th of March, 2013. Here's the news in Panama for today. The public ministry is continuing their investigation against the director of the Office of Market Securities. Basically, it's the Panamanian version of the SEC with regards to the Financial Pacific case. It's one of these things where the directors of Financial Pacific filed a complaint against the director of the Office of Market Securities, and the Office of Market Securities was trying to shut down Financial Pacific. Now, they accuse him of having violated his authority. The Supreme Court stepped in, and because the Office of Market Securities had ordered an intervention. They were going to put their people in charge to keep the clients from getting ripped off, and then inexplicably, the Supreme Court stepped in and stopped that from happening. And then they haven't decided on the rest of the case, which has been in limbo for months. They're supposed to decide these things in days, and they're just kind of letting it hang. This is the case where there's somebody missing. There's Vernon Ramos went missing when all of this started, and nobody knows if he was murdered, kidnapped, suicide. Nobody knows what happened to the guy. He's gone. So, this is just a strange case. Anyway, the public ministry has decided to allow this case to continue based on the complaint filed by the directors of Financial Pacific against the director of the Market Securities Administration. Abood is his name. Now, the primary suspect in this case, who was accused by the directors of supposedly being the one who stole the $14 million, her name is Maite Pellegrini. She's been in prison for the last several months, and on Monday, the Office of Market Securities is still continuing to do their investigation. They went to the women's prison, and they got an expanded statement from her with her lawyer, and laying out all of these details about all the mischievous crap, primarily based on insider trading, that was supposedly going on inside of this Financial Pacific. So what you end up with here is allegations on one hand that there's high level, to the level of the president of Panama, insider trading going on revolving around Financial Pacific and the Petequilla gold mining company. And then on the other hand, the directors of the company are saying, well, this guy is violating his authority. You have these two clashing in the middle. Then the Supreme Court drops in from the outside and kind of stops this investigation from going on. But they're still investigating. So it's not really clear what's happening. And I kind of wonder about the integrity of the investigation all the way around. I don't trust any of it. I think that there were high-level people involved in this money laundering stuff. And I believe that eventually it will be investigated outside of Panama, specifically by the Market Securities Commission guys in Vancouver, Columbia, or British Columbia, in Canada. So anyway, we'll see how that works out. It's still going on. There'll be more. Okay, as of Sunday, I'm going to burn through the rest of this stuff pretty quick. As of Sunday, gasoline in Panama will be sold by the liter. No longer going to sell it by the gallon. The conversion rate is 3.78 liters per gallon. And just as a ballpark, just so you can kind of know, if you see 105 per liter, that's $4 a gallon. Okay, so that's about, you can say, all right, well, because the gas lately has been going up and down right around $4 a gallon. Sometimes it goes up, sometimes it goes down. All right, 105 a liter equals $4 a gallon. So just you can do that quick conversion in your head. Speaking of mining in Panama, the company Inmet has been were the ones that are developing this copper mine, massive copper mine project up there north of La Pintada. The thing is, they're going to spend like $6-point-something billion, billion with a B, to build this copper mine. It's a really big project. There's another company, Canadian company called First Quantum, which is trying to buy out Inmet. They're just trying to do a hostile takeover of this company, and what they're offering is, I think it was like $72 a share, and they got up up to 61.5% of the shares, where the share owners had said, "Yeah, we'll buy into that deal. We'll sell our shares to you and allow you to take over this company." So they extended it. They're trying to get 2/3. Once they've got 2/3, and basically they've got control of the company, and then there's really not much that INMET can do. Hey, two different Canadian mining companies fighting over the mountain of copper, and that's the only way to describe it. It is a mountain of copper in Panama, which is worth billions upon billions upon billions upon billions of dollars, and it will be operational. That mine, once it gets running, is going to operate for like 30 years. It's going to be an open pit mine, ugly, clean off the jungle, dig down into the mountains, suck out the copper. Lots of money, lots of jobs, lots of revenue for the government of Panama. A massive new mining industry in Panama. The environmentalists are going to run around and turn blue and have a cow and shit while they type about it on their laptop computers that are full of friggin' copper. Blah. Drives me nuts. Anyway, so there's enough money there for these guys to be, fighting over it and taking one another over and all that kind of stuff. Okay, switching over to the Critica. There are currently, right now, 4 investigations open in Panama under the prosecutor for organized crime having to do with trafficking of human beings. These are cases in which prostitutes, primarily from Colombia, have been brought to Panama and then made to participate in these kinds of activities, prostitution. There was one not too long ago where a bunch of women were taken from one specific area in Colombia and they were brought to Cologne and they were put in a brothel there. And this one witness talks about how she had supposedly she had no idea what she was getting into. As soon as she got to Panama, they took her passport away, and then she was forced to sexually service 80 Greek sailors who came in on the boats to go through the Panama Canal. So, anyway, there are 4 open investigations by the prosecutor for organized crime for human trafficking in Panama. Then there's probably more of it going on than that. Okay, the IDAN is in the process of doing a nationwide program to collect the money that they are owed. Nationwide, with all the open accounts, they are owed $120 million. Now, the IDAN has always been very bad about getting paid and getting the money that people owe them. So what they do is they cut off your water, and if you don't pay them, then you don't get your water turned back on. So they're announcing that they're going to go nationwide from Chiriquí to the Darien, and they're going to, if you owe them money, they're cutting your crap off and pay your bill, and we'll turn it back on again. That number of how much they're owed has been reduced over the last several years. During this administration with Ricardo Martinelli, they have gone out of their way to get as much of that money as they can. They've even hired outside consultants, and they're doing everything they can to reduce that amount of back debt. So that is still an issue. Okay, this weekend on Sunday, the Panamanista political party will be having their primaries. They will be electing Juan Carlos Varela, the only candidate who has a shot at winning. It's going to be the same kind of a thing with the PRD last weekend in Juan Carlos Navarro. He won with 94%. It's going to be the same kind of thing here with the Panaministas. They're just going to come out and validate Juan Carlos Varela because there really is no serious challenger to him. It's kind of just like an exercise. But guess what? After Sunday, we will have 2 of the 3 presidential candidates for the 2014 elections formally decided. After this weekend, the primary elections for the Cambio Democrático Party are in May. And that is the next one. That's really the only one that is going to matter all of that much. The only one that I consider to be interesting. Now, there's bus drivers. They're trying to get the last of the Diablo Rojo, the old Red Devil buses, off the streets. They're trying to get the Metro bus system installed in the whole country. They're getting down to those last few routes, and the date for that is supposed to be 15 March. Well, the bus drivers are going, hey, wait a minute, we're not leaving until we get paid, because they're supposed to be getting paid $25,000 per bus. The problem is that there's all kinds of graft and corruption where they forge the paperwork and they've created bullshit buses and bullshit permits and stuff. I mean, hundreds of them at a time in order to cash in on this thing. There are currently a list of something like 200 and something bus drivers that have been taking their buses off the streets, but they haven't been paid. There are many more who have been paid, but anyway, it's coming up to kind of a head because that 15 March date is coming, and the bus drivers are going, we're not leaving, and the government is going, yes, you are. So it's going to be a kind of a clash of the titans here. We'll see how that goes. Yesterday there was one of these little minor earthquakes in Chiriquí. This one was a little bit different because it was just north of David. It was a 4.4 and it was also relatively shallow. It was only 5 kilometers in depth, so a lot of people felt it. And because normally if it's deeper, then it's not as felt near the surface. This one was up near the surface, so it kind of did some shaking, and there was a couple of schools that were evacuated, and I got some email and some tweets and some chats and stuff like, earthquake. I was like, oh yeah, it wasn't a big one, it was 4.4. As far as I'm concerned, those little 4.4 jobs are good because they release the tension that builds up. The ones that worry me, like up in Seattle, they got one that goes off like every 500 years, and when it goes off, it's like a 9.5. That's the one you worry about because it just locks up and it just waits. And then when it goes, bang, you have this massive earthquake. This one, little 4.4, don't sweat it. So up there, the people that live up in that area in Chiriquí are accustomed to the little tremblers because they happen literally all the time, like once a month or something. They're really, really common. So there was another one yesterday. And then here's this knucklehead. It's like the Knucklehead of the Day award. There was a couple of cops that were up in Veranillo, and they noticed a guy in the bush. So they're like, hey, you, come out of here. So what does he do? He comes up with a 9mm and starts shooting at the cops. They're like, oh, shit. So they scramble and they return fire, and they eventually bust this idiot. He had on him a 9mm gun, 10 rounds of ammunition, a lot of money in cash, drugs, and a ski cap. Money, drugs, ski cap, and a gun. You think he was up to no good? So anyway, asshole's going to prison. The Knucklehead of the Day award goes to that dude out of Veranillo. Bye-bye. Go to prison. Have a nice day. All right. That's it. That's all I got. As always, thanks for watching, and have a great day. Bye.